Guys, scalpers are about to make even more money for a lot longer, and they may or may not be hope. So let's talk about it. So, every now and then, a guy likes to get on the interweb, likes to pretend like he knows how to read and he understands what he's looking at, and it makes me feel good about myself, just to kind of get into all the current worldwide trends and everything that's going on. And also, it impresses the wife. It's good to make her think that I'm smart. But I digress. So, looking on the interweb and just reading around and just watching a few videos, TSMC, which is the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, they're the world's most advanced chip foundry, and they're the ones that make most of the chips for AMD and a lot of automotive manufacturers and other companies. It's a publicly traded company, so all the information from their conferences and everything is public information. And what they pretty much said was that the huge demand and shortages, they don't foresee it ending anytime soon. Yeah, that's not good. But they believe this will extend till 2022. And as a major manufacturer for AMD and other customers and auto circuits and their boards and everything like that, that's probably not the news you want to hear. Now, the TSMC, they make a lot of semiconductors and chips and all that good stuff, and the shortage has been causing a headaches for a lot of people in a lot of industries. So not only us gamers have been suffering from it, but automotives and just any electronic that requires chips, everybody's kind of been suffering for it. Manufacturers of PCs, mobile devices, gaming consoles, vehicles, network devices, industrial machines, everybody's trying to scramble to buy enough chips to use their products, despite the surge for the demand of these products. So now, let's talk about the shortage just for a sec. So to kind of give you guys a background on this shortage stemmed all from the pandemic last year. A lot of plants got shut down during COVID-19, and without that, they were not able to make enough chips. And then the other issue they ran into was online learning, increased cell phone usage, satellites. The pandemic really hit an increase for demand for chips and technology, and with the shutdowns, the companies could not keep up. And then you have crypto that's taking leaps forwards, and they can't keep up with the demand of that because everybody's buying out graphics cards and trying to make money and all that stuff. This has been bad, especially for competitors like AMD, who right now they're getting ready to kick, they're kicking butt in the market, and they can't get chips either, so it's kind of holding back from really taking over the market, in my opinion. So in short, the market was already wobbly when the pandemic started last year, but however, the pandemic temporarily disrupted semiconductor shipments as global demand for the new mobile devices, PCs, data centers, all that stuff, just surged in response to remote network from online learning and other stay-at-home trends. Most chip makers were able to kind of recover from this initial disruption, but the TSMCs, they stayed online because its most advanced plants in Taiwan's weren't too much affected. Memory chip makers also quickly ramped up their production again in response to the rising demand, but honestly, they still can't keep up with the demand. And although things are getting better, it's going to be a while before it can get better. Now, so what are the plans for these companies to kind of get better? Now, a lot of these companies, they're looking to get new facilities to kind of make more chips. But the problem is, it takes chips to make chips. So now they have to produce all the chips that they need to put them in the little robots and things and everything just to kind of make more chips, just so they can make chips for everybody. And then it's not like, Rome was built in a day. These plants are going to probably take at least, 6 months to a year if they put a rapid, rush on it. But it's still going to take a while for these plants to be, built and produced. And we're not talking about until at least the beginning of 2022. So with that being said, we're still going to have a shortage as the demand keeps increasing. And the demand is going to keep increasing. TSMC's fabs have already been running at over 100% utilization over the past 12 months, and it recently announced that it was probably going to spend another $100 billion over the next 3 years to expand its operation. Intel also recently warned that the global chip shortage could last 2 more years and would require immense investments to resolve. So it's going to take a lot of money just to do it. And where do you think they're going to get that money from? Markup, guys. Also, several setbacks have recently occurred, just kind of looking out in the media outlets of what's going on in the world. TSMC recently had a power outage, a production pause at Samsung, a fire at the Japanese auto chip maker, Renesas, if I'm saying that right. All this kind of highlights the fragility of the semiconductor supply chain and its overwhelming dependence on overseas gatekeepers. So you know, we're trying to get our chips, but all this stuff just keeps happening and kind of setting us back. You know, they are attempting, like I just talked about, to build more facilities, but it could take several years. And like I said, you need chips to make chips. So what this means, well, these GPUs are going to cost a little more money, and the shortage is going to last a lot longer. So 2022, guys, 2022. And that means that all these scalpers and people just taking advantage of the market, yeah, it's going to continue, and it's going to be hard for us gamers to get new graphics cards. So let's talk real quick on supply and demand. So pretty much supply and demand amounts to the amount of commodity, product, or service available and desire of buyers for it, considered as factors for regulating the price. The supply is short, demand is high, and they're going to raise the price, and people are willing to pay as much as they feel they need to pay just to get these items. And unfortunately, that's where scalpers are going to make the money. People want a game. New games are coming out. People want to do 2K, 4K gaming. Some people are just tired of the old, RX 460 that they have in their computers, and they just want to get some of this new stuff that's coming out, and they're willing to pay. They're willing to pay to get this, and unfortunately, that's what kind of enables this whole market. Reading around, there might be a glimpse of hope, just something to consider, but it's still going to be a delay. So guys, there might be a little hope and just something to kind of look forward to in the future, and we'll talk about how it may be hope and how it may be false hope. So reading an article on PC Gamer, which is another website that I love to just read through and get good insight, the Chinese mining firm Bitmain actually released a teaser for its upcoming ASIC Antminer E9 Ethereum mining box. So to talk about Antminers, pretty much Antminers are simply Bitcoin mining hardware. They're considered to be the most powerful mining hardware in the world for different cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, ZEC, Ethereum, and they don't charge Bitcoin mining fees for pay per last N shares, PPLNS, and that's a whole nother topic, and that's getting ready to change. So if you guys are definitely interested in that, let me know and we'll get into that. This is potentially good news for us because as gamers, the Antminer E9 is much better at mining Ethereum than even the best graphics cards out there, with a hash rate of 3GH-S, which that's the easiest way to say it. That's equivalent to 32 GeForce RTX 3080s. And if this is kind of true, as quoted from PC Gamer, that hash rate would make an Antminer E9 the fastest Ethereum ASIC available. And that's actually quoted from Tom's Hardware. It's faster than Lensai Phoenix Ethash ASIC miner, which reportedly manages 2600 MHSs, although good luck actually buying one of those. Yeah, another story. Power usage is also a major factor with these, and the anti-miner uses less power compared to graphics cards. So that is something that's more appealing to those crypto miners. Now, if serious miners were to jump over to using the likes of the Antminer E9, that would free up graphics cards for gamers. So now let's kind of give an example. It's likely to cost something around $20,000 to $40,000 for this big Ethereum mining operation only. But back to the original comparison, if a serious miner wants to start their own mining farm and they wanted 32 GeForce RTX 3080s, you're currently looking at around $2,000 per card, and this is the eBay price of it, which a lot of people are going to have to spend for it. You're looking at $64,000 for the lot. So the Antminer E9 is actually going to be the better bang for the buck now that we look at it. Now, despite the price, the Antminer E9 will undoubtedly be in high demand, and given supportedly problems affecting the whole wide industry. And the problem is that that's going to be in demand. There's not enough chips, and guess what? Now we can't make that either. So even though this could be the solution to the graphics cards issues and everything, and this whole scalping thing, as this goes forward and this gets to be produced, graphic card values are going to drop, and people are going to have no use for it when you have an Antminer that could actually do it a lot better, a lot more efficient, and pretty much you're not going to need the graphics cards. So the graphics cards will eventually drop, but going back to earlier what we talked about in the video, we're looking at about 2022 before this is even viable, and that's if chip makers could start making the semiconductors that we need for these Antminers. So something to consider. One takeaway from this is that ASICs help accelerate the difficulty away from what is possibly using general purpose hardware like graphics cards. So they are the solution, and we just have to wait for it. So mining Ethereum on graphics cards could soon come to an end anyway, as more ASICs appear if we're able to get chiplets. But with chip shortages, this too will be delayed before we can see GPU prices decrease. There is hope, but at this way of saying it, it appears like false hope. With shortages, scalpers will get richer as the supply and demand efforts continue. Miners want it, gamers want it. There is a low supply, there's a high demand, and people will pay whatever it takes to get it. So guys, yeah, it don't look like until 2022 before things will get better, and it kind of sucks. Yes, this whole, Antminer E9 with the ASICs is the solution, but we need chips. We need chips. And before we end this, you really think these manufacturers that are making all this buku money charging these overprices, you really think they're going to lower their prices once things go back to normal? I would say maybe a little bit, but hey, if people want to pay it, why am I going to lower it so much? So I think there's going to be a decrease, but not as significant as it could be. So guys, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this. What do you think? I mean, do you think the Antminer E9 will be the solution? Do you really think that next year we should be able to get things back to normal? The prediction was for the summer, but now it doesn't seem like that with the demands. And not only as computer gamers, but the automotive industry, and that's another topic for itself for another day if you guys want to talk about it. So want to hear your feedbacks on it. If you like the video, definitely hit the like button. Guys, if you want us to keep doing more of this, definitely show some support. Thanks for watching, and we'll see what we talk about next.